Anger is one of those emotions we all think we can control. That is until someone cuts us off in traffic, leaves dishes in the sink, or says that one phrase that just flips your switch. The truth is, anger isn't bad. It's information. But if we don't learn how to work with it, it ends up working against us. So welcome back to Bargain Brand Wellness, where we don't just talk self-care, we test it out in the clearance aisle. Tonight, we're diving into how to control your anger, not by pretending it doesn't exist, but by learning to manage it before it manages you. So hold on to your hats. It's going to get grumpy. Welcome to Wellness. Welcome back, my wellness warriors, my self-care connoisseurs, my students of wellness. We've got a fun show for you tonight. We're going to have a good time on this. Let's get some Monday motivation going on. We have a video we're going to review today about the different things that can set us off and how we can control those. You know, we all have that one or two or numerous things that set us off, make us a little angry, causes our blood pressure to rise, temperatures to change a little bit, our head to swirl. Right? We all do it. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun this evening. We're gonna get some background music going on, changing up a little bit. We're jumping over to Spotify. And playing some stream beats by Harris Heller, which is also copyright free music. Just trying something a little bit different. I know this is common for a lot of streamers use, so we'll see if you all were able to kind of pick that up on your end. I don't want it too loud, but yeah. All right. All right. Hopefully everyone's Monday evening is going well. Start to the beginning of another fantastic week. I know mine's been pretty quiet so far. And out of town for a couple days, but shouldn't be too bad. Should be enjoyable. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get into our first video. Title of this video is How to Never Get Angry or Bothered by Anyone. This is by Jamie Social, who's the video will be linked in the, or should already be linked in the video description. I don't know. This is a different channel I found. It's a fundraiser. I don't know what that means, but showed up on YouTube and I was like, hey, you know what? That fits perfectly into what we want to talk about today. So let's let's do this thing. In fact, we're gonna pause Spotify just for a minute. All right,
you know that feeling when someone says something that ruins your entire day? What if I told you that feeling only lasts 90 seconds unless you keep feeding it? Here's the truth. Anger is a choice. Neurologically, the stress chemicals that create anger naturally flush from your system in exactly 90 seconds. But we keep the anger alive by replaying the story, rehearsing our comeback. It's like having a smoke alarm that goes off when you burn toast, but instead of opening a window, you keep making more toast. Next time someone cuts you off in traffic, notice what happens. Your body floods with stress hormones. That's the 90 seconds. But then you start the story. What an idiot. And suddenly, you're still angry 20 minutes later. When you understand this 90-second rule, you realize you have a choice point. You can let the chemicals flush naturally, or you can feed the fire. Everyone knows someone who stays calm no matter what happens. They're not superhuman. They just know something you're about to learn. Chapter 1.
All right. So as we were kind of talking in our intro a little bit, The idea behind getting angry, as we said, everybody gets angry. It's a normal part of life. And we're going to kind of get into it throughout this video, I believe, is it's usually the thought process that kind of keeps the initial anger going. As I mentioned in the video, this is reality. It says the typical reaction, that chemical reaction in the brain, usually only lasts about 90 seconds. Very, very, very true. It's the thoughts, the feelings, maybe even that other, if there's another person involved, that thing might keep the anger flowing. You know, like it said here, it's like a fuel. It's like a fire. It needs fuel to keep it going.
The button pusher myth. You're not a remote control. They really know how to push my buttons. We say this like we're helpless remote controls. But nobody can push buttons you don't give them. Here's the button pusher myth, that other people have magical powers over your emotions. But buttons only work when they're connected to something. Those buttons are actually unhealed wounds or values violations from your past. When someone pushes your buttons, they're showing you exactly where you still need healing. Your coworker makes that sarcastic comment that always sets you off. Instead of automatically reacting, pause and ask, what is this really about? Maybe it reminds you of your critical parent. Suddenly, the coworker isn't pushing your buttons, they're revealing them. When you stop being a remote control, you become the operator of your own emotional state. Nobody gets to decide how you feel except you. Consider your biggest trigger person. What they trigger in you has nothing to do with them.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. You know, I love the analogy. Don't be a remote, right? Don't let someone else control your volume, control which channel you're on, mute you, right? Turn you on and off. It's a great analogy. You know, you are your own remote. Learn to control yourself. I love the way it kind of starts off with that one.
Chapter 2. The secondary emotion revelation. What anger is really hiding. Here's something that will blow your mind. What you call anger isn't actually anger. Anger is the emotional equivalent of a security guard. It shows up to protect feelings like hurt, fear, or shame. When someone criticizes you and you get angry, you're not really angry. You're hurt that they don't see your value. Anger feels safer than vulnerability, so it volunteers to be the spokesperson. Your partner forgets your anniversary, and you explode in anger. But underneath that anger is hurt. Do I not matter to you? When you address the hurt instead of expressing the anger, a real shift happens. I felt forgotten gets a very different response than, you never remember anything. When you learn to identify the emotion underneath anger, you can address the real issue. Vulnerability heals. Anger just creates more distance. Reflect on your last big anger episode. What was the vulnerable emotion hiding underneath?
Yeah. Emotions as kind of the secondary, or anger is kind of the secondary emotion you see. This is interesting because this is kind of DBT up and down. So basically a lot of what this is referencing is how there's kind of 7 primary emotions, right? There's joy, there's fear, there is anger, right? There's sadness or grief, there's shame, there's jealousy, and then there's envy as well. And jealousy and envy, people get confused all the time. Jealousy is basically the fear of like your relationship with something being sabotaged or lost, whereas envy is wishing that you had what someone else had. And so anyway, so the reason that it talks about anger as that secondary emotion is simply because anger is what is typically expressed, especially in men. You know, it's the one emotion out of all those other 7 that is associated with strength, which is an incorrect association, but it's what we're automatically taught. Because even in today's world, right? Even in today's world, we're still live under the kind of stigma, the idea that the stereotype that boys don't cry, boys don't show emotion. Emotion is weakness. So we immediately jump to anger, right? So understanding what's actually driving the anger can actually kind of help make you more aware of what's really going on. And it's usually going to be shame, like you're being pushed away from a particular group. It could be jealousy. You're worried about some relationship is being sabotaged. It could be envious, right? You want what someone else has. It could be fear, right? You're afraid of losing something or fearful that something might harm you, right? It could be a lot of different things. So that's where a lot of the anger comes from. So that's kind of the first part of the video. We're going to break it down in a couple other parts because it's broken down into chapters. I see people popping in over on TikTok. Hi, how are you? How you doing? Click the like, click the follow, share the live if you want. All right, if you're over on YouTube or Facebook, click the subscribe button, click that like button. Hopefully you're enjoying the content and engage with us. Feel free to throw any comments there in chat. We're over here having a grand old time. So we're on week 2. Well, no, I guess this is week 3. Yeah, beginning of week 3. We are back as of September 1st. Took a little bit of a hiatus over the summer, but we are back with our Monday motivation episode. We're live on TikTok at Off Brand Tim, live on YouTube at Bargain Brand Wellness, and then we're also live on Facebook under my personal account. We have a Facebook group over there. You can go over there and join. No request or application needed. Just go over there and join. You can get updates on what's going on with us over here. We weren't going live on Facebook, but I know that a lot of people weren't able to watch on other platforms. As I've put in the chat over there on Facebook, we're not interacting with chat over there. You can simply, if you're someone who just wants to watch the content, that's fine. Sit over there and watch it. And the reason I say is because the chats weren't always showing up. People were over there throwing comments out and I wasn't seeing them. So if you're just interested in just watching, that's fine. Sit over there on Facebook. If you want to engage with us, you're going to have to come over here to YouTube, or if you dare, head on over to TikTok. All right. So like I said, we're going to pause on the video. We'll come back to it. What we're going to do our first game. We're going to do our daily Wordle. We have a couple games on here that I won't lie that are somewhat challenging at times. I'm not going to lie a little bit. The daily Wordle's not too bad. We haven't really gotten stumped too much with that, but knock on wood, hopefully that'll continue. Hopefully. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into our daily Wordle over here. All right. They give you the option to use a hint. I haven't felt like I needed a hint yet. So we're going to keep going with this thing. I know I have a little bit of a strategy that I've seen from other people. Start with the word stare. Start with cloud. And you start with pinky. And what this does, this gets all your vowels and Y out the way and most of your really popular letters. So it kind of gives you a pretty good idea just with these 3 of what the word might be. So right off the bat, we know we have LOAN. All right, the L and the O are in the right place. So, and I'm going to tell you right now. Oh no, I was going to say clown is the first thing that's thrown out at me, but we already used the C. Feel free to throw some guesses over there in the chat if you want. Shouldn't really need them for these, but yeah, so we've got something, L-O, something, something. We know there's an N and an A. I'm going to assume that A is right there. I could be wrong because it could be something like aloha. I don't know if they do that, but it could. So I'm going to say this is something L-O-A, and I'm going to say N because there's no word it begins N-L. So loan. Yeah. Blown is a word, but that's not, it's definitely not how you spell it. Glown, no. Gelono. Blown, but that's also not how you spell that. Malone. If you know, you know. Thanks for sharing. So you're saying alone. I was almost thinking the same thing. This first one popped up to me, Danny, but we already got rid of the E. We used the E in stare. He said, never mind. Yeah. We might have to take a guess here. What's up, guys? Yep, Timmy Too Legit. That's our rapper name. Danny, we were talking on Saturdays After Dark episode about the rapper name you gave me. I don't remember if you jumped on or not. Do you remember the rapper name you gave me when you first got into rap? He's still in here. No, not T Slim. It was T something. It wasn't T Slim. Damn, I really thought you'd remember. There it is. T-Bone. T-Bone. Oh, that's too funny. All right, let's get back to our word. You guys are distracting me. Maybe it's not. Maybe that's not right. Maybe that A doesn't go there. You know what? I don't think it's right. But we're going to try aloha. Aloha. Wow. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, okay. I know what it is. Along. Boom! Did that thing. We were so stupid. Hey, listen. I appreciate you. You kind of introduced me more to rap music, even though I'm not a big fan of rap music. You kind of introduced me to some stuff. I mean, aside from what I knew at the time, which was basically what, Nelly, Eminem, Jay-Z a little bit. You introduced me to some new stuff. Yeah, y'all keep talking about Rod Wave this, Rod Wave that. I'm gonna have to. I'll tell you what, y'all make a playlist for me, right? Make a mixtape, and I'll check it out. Do y'all even you youngins even know what a mixtape is? Easy. Danny, you're probably right. I probably won't like Rod Wave, but listen, I'll give anything a try. I didn't think I'd like country music, but here I am. So. All right. Trust. What is wrong with Rod Wave? I mean, I don't know. Like you said, if I know streaming, these online platforms are real funky about music, or we would check it out, but you can't play anything without didn't say anything was wrong with him. Tim's likes. That's true. But hey, like I said before, I didn't think I was gonna like country, but damn, y'all got me in the country a little bit, just a little bit. I'm not a super big fan, but there's a couple guys. Chris Stapleton is the one who I probably like the most right now, but yeah. Morgan Wallet. I know I've heard of Morgan Wallen, but not Morgan Wallet. Let's bring Nova in for a second. See how she's doing over here. Hey Nova, how's your Monday going?
Hey there, Monday's going great on my end. Just here to keep things fun and keep you company. Think of me as your friendly AI on a mission to turn Monday into a fun day. Let's keep rolling.
Appreciate that. We're over here doing our Monday motivation live stream. We got some people over there hanging out with us on TikTok. Thank you all for getting those likes up. A little quiet over on the YouTube front, but that's all right. We're over here having a grand old time. Today's stream, we're talking about how to control your anger. In fact, we're actually reviewing a video on how to never get angry at anyone ever again.
Oh, I love that. Shout out to the TikTok crew for bringing the energy. And hey, YouTube folks, if you're lurking in the background, feel free to jump in whenever you're ready. We're all in this together. I mean, a little Monday motivation and a video on never getting angry at anyone ever again. That's like the ultimate life cheat code. So let's dive in, have some laughs, and see if we can unlock a little Zen together.
I agree. I'm with it. We'll talk to you again here shortly, Nova, see if we have any lingering questions. All right, so let's get into the next part of the video. We're going to get into chapter 3.
Chapter 3. The choice point discovery. Your superpower between trigger and response. Between every trigger and your response, there's a space.
Danny G, thanks for
In
the
that
rose.
space lies your
Appreciate
freedom.
you.
Most people don't even know this space exists. Viktor Frankl discovered this in a Nazi concentration camp. No matter what happens to you, you always have the freedom to choose your response. That trigger hits, your body floods with chemicals, but before you react, there's a microsecond of choice. When you learn to find that choice point, you become the author of your own experience. Someone sends you a passive-aggressive email. Your first impulse is to fire back immediately. But in that moment before you hit send, ask yourself, what response would I be proud of tomorrow? That question activates your choice point.
I'll tell you what, I've had to deal with this a couple times in my work life, and yeah, a couple little tricks when it comes to the whole email thing. Go ahead and type out the email. Just leave the to, right, who you're sending it to, leave that part blank. And especially if it's an emotionally charged email, type out everything. Don't even revise it. Walk away, save it, whatever. Walk away, come back 15, 30 minutes, an hour later, right? And check it out again. And you'd be surprised. You're like, the emotion has come down. Because remember, we said earlier that typically emotions last about 90 seconds. It's all the thoughts, all the feelings, or even the other person that keeps that intensity going. Come back and you'll find that you're not usually as emotionally charged. Something else I've started to do, I type out these emails and then I copy and paste it into Chat GBT, and I say, hey Chat GBT, help me remove some of the emotion or the affliction out of my voice in this text, because I can feel it in the way I wrote it. And Chat GBT has saved me a couple times probably.
This choice point is your emotional superpower. It's the difference between being a pinball bouncing off circumstances or being the player controlling the game. Think about someone who never seems to get rattled. They've mastered the space between trigger and response. You can too. Chapter 4. The Observer Self Technique. Watching your emotions like weather. What if you could watch your emotions like weather patterns, instead of being swept away by every storm? Inside you is an observer, a part that can watch your emotions without becoming them. You can notice, anger is arising, heart rate increasing. But you don't become the anger, you observe it. This observer self is always calm, always present. It's the part of you that can think, I'm having the thought that this person is an idiot, instead of, this person is an idiot. Your teenager rolls their eyes at you. Instead of immediately getting defensive, activate your observer. I notice irritation rising. Now you're watching the emotion instead of being hijacked by it. From this space, you can choose a response that actually helps. The observer self gives you emotional immunity. You can experience any emotion without being controlled by it. Think about a time you stayed calm in chaos. You were using your observer self. Now you can do it intentionally.
That's funny. Yeah. That person is an idiot. Listen, there are some people who are just idiots, but it's not always nice to call them that, especially if we're talking in a professional setting. I don't want to see anybody losing their job or getting disciplined for no reason. Yeah. How do you handle these intense situations? I like the idea of kind of feeling like you're a weather, kind of predicting, right? You know yourself better than anybody else. So look ahead, right? Look ahead to those things that you know set you off. Become more aware of those. That in itself could honestly keep you from getting triggered, unless you really have no control over your emotions. Yeah, just be aware of them. Know what calms you down, right? Look look forward to those things. And yeah, you should usually get a better response from yourself. So, good. All right, we'll come back to the other parts of those videos here in a little bit. We're gonna get into our next game. These ones will take a little bit longer. We're gonna get into our connections. Any of you all who have joined us for our connections, some of these can be difficult. The one day, I think it was last Wednesday, we were on here, we couldn't get a single category. No, it was last Monday, and then Wednesday, with the help of some of our viewers, we were able to complete it, even though we definitely needed some help. All right, so for our for anybody who's maybe new to these types of games, connections, there's 4 groups of 4 up here. They're not always obvious. They're not always obvious on what is the category. In fact, sometimes they'll put words together that look like they should fit together and obviously don't. So there's 4 categories. You have one category where it says it's pretty straightforward, and you have other categories that are not so straightforward, but we'll see. All right, so let's see. We've got connection, banshee, carpet, strand, pip, chemistry, bank, tile, heartbreaker, wood, spark, coast, laminate, shore, whaler, and fireworks. All right. The way whaler is spelled, W-A-I-L, I mean, that sounds to me like someone who wails, like who cries. What is pip? I don't know. See, that's the thing. Some of these are difficult. So any help you want to give over there, I will definitely take it. These can be difficult. And they do have a hint, but all it does, the hint, it tells you one word that goes in a category. Like if it's the straightforward one, that should kind of help you figure out which one it is. I don't know how much it actually helps. It really hasn't helped me all that much at this point. Wood, carpet, tile. I like that one. All right. So wood, carpet, tile. But then we need a 4th one. So I assume we're thinking like types of flooring, right? Laminate flooring. See, I said laminate as in like a verb, and strand. No, I'm gonna say laminate, and I would say this is probably the yellow category. So let's go ahead and submit that one. Yep, yellow. That's your straightforward one. Danny, I see you say Ashley, you say banshee, coast, shore, and whaler. Well, I know banshees are they're like a loud, mythological creature. So banshee and whaler, right? Ashley, you're saying shore and coast. What makes you throw those together? I mean, we'll roll it, but we only get so many guesses. I'm just curious as what your thought process was. The ocean. Okay. Yeah, because banshees are a thing that's by the water, I think, right? But that's the... Danny says fireworks, spark, heartbreaker, pip. Banshee. I knew banshees were by the water. I'm not so sure about whaler. Danny says fireworks, spark, heartbreaker, pip. Chemistry. Okay. I hadn't thought about it like that. So chemistry, like, hey, we got some chemistry. Chemistry, heartbreaker, spark, things that have to do with like a relationship and connection. You and I have a connection. There's a spark between us. There's a chemistry. Nope. Here's where it is. There's fireworks between us. There it is. So chemistry, spark, connection, fireworks, submit. Bam. Got it. But I got there with y'all help. your all's help. Thank you for that. All right, so we still have Banshee, Shore, Whaler, and Coast, Ashley, that you threw up. I'm gonna roll them. I don't know if Pip is a very attractive person. Okay. Which would go with Heartbreaker. Let's try the one Ashley threw up. To see what we get there. No. And usually it'll tell you if you're one away, so we're not even close with that one. So a Pip is a very attractive person. Listen, I'm not using Google with these, but that doesn't mean my viewers can't cheat and use Google to help me with what some of the words mean. Okay, so Heartbreaker and Pip. Nothing else really thrown out to me though. See, when I see bank, I almost think like water, like bank. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking there. I bet there's another meaning for Whaler. I'm thinking Pip, Heartbreaker, and Whaler. I'm thinking Whaler. There's probably another meaning. I'm thinking like someone who's wail, someone who's like crying loudly. But yeah, I don't know how that fits in there. Bank, Shore, Coast. Yeah, I agree. I think those four go together, or those three go together. Shore, Bank, and Coast. But I don't know if Whaler goes with it or Strand. We already did Banshee, and it didn't say we were one off, so it can't be. Well, it could be Whaler, but we were at least two off. So no, it can't be. It can't be Whaler. Stranded. Yeah, but wouldn't it say Stranded? You're saying do it? What? Strand, Shore, Coast, and Bank? We'll try it. Oh, beachy area. So it has to be, I was saying like a sand bank is what I was thinking. The coast, the shore, but strand. What is strand? Like, I don't think it's stranded. Danny, you are awesome. I'm curious what that means. See, some of these, that's what makes these a little bit harder. And so a Heartbreaker and a Pip we know has to do with like attractive person. Whaler and Banshee. Curious about that one. What do y'all think the category is? Irresistible men. Because I think banshees aren't banshees like a male? Like a siren is a female mythological creature, and I thought like the banshee was the male counterpart. I thought. And this is purple, which purple is the most difficult category. Member of a classic. Wait a minute, hold on. What did that say? Members of a classic backing band. We would have never got that. And they were going to give me, I guess, 100 points if I got that one first. Who would have gotten that one? Strand means the shore of a lake or ocean. Hey, listen, that's why we do this, because these are brain games and we learn something new every time. So, hey, like that. Appreciate the help with that one. I'm going to be honest. Without the help that I've gotten the last... You didn't cheat? Yes, you did. You did not know what that was. Without the help the last two times I've done these, I would not have gotten it. I would have gotten the flooring part, and I probably would have gotten the romantic vibe. But the last two ones I wouldn't have gotten without just making guesses. So. Danny, I believe you. You knew what a strand was. I do believe you. Geography was one of your favorite subjects. Bam, 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 bam. You're not dumb. I said geography was one of your favorite subjects. I don't remember hearing about a strand. I know islands, plateaus, peninsulas, right? Never heard of a strand. Just saying. Strand of hair, right? Being, as you said, being stranded, but never had that. Which, if it has to do with water, means the shore of a lake or ocean, well, then that's where the term stranded comes from then. Because you're lost on the shore of a lake or ocean. Interesting. All right, let's get into chapter 5 and 6 of how to not get angry or bothered by anyone ever again.
Chapter 5. The Reframe Revolution. Difficult people as emotional trainers. What if difficult people aren't obstacles in your path, but personal trainers for your emotional fitness? This perspective shift will change how you see every challenging person. Every difficult person in your life is showing you exactly where you need to grow. That critical boss, they're training your resilience muscle. That passive-aggressive neighbor, they're developing your boundary-setting skills. Just like a physical trainer puts you through uncomfortable exercises to make you stronger, emotional trainers build your emotional strength. Your micromanaging boss sends their 15th email today. Instead of thinking, they don't trust me, try, they're helping me practice staying calm under pressure. Suddenly, this isn't personal persecution, it's emotional strength training. You start responding with curiosity. What do you need to feel confident about this project? When difficult people become trainers, you stop being a victim and become a student. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to level up emotionally. Examine your most challenging relationship.
Hey, this isn't an opportunity for you to come at me. Leave me alone.
What strength is that person helping you develop? Learn something new? Hit that like button, share it with others, tap subscribe.
All right. Yeah, that game made you angry. It's a tough game. If you stick around until the end where we do our daily contexto, that one's really going to get to you. At least Connections gives you the words. And then Contexto gives you no, I mean, there are hints you can click on, but it gives you no category. So yeah, you'll really like that one, actually. Yeah, so, all right, what were we talking about? Oh, how to reframe the thing that's making you angry. This is something, I'm not going to lie, that takes a lot of practice. Especially when you do know that there is something behind the other person, right? Have you ever dealt with a micromanager as your leader? You can read the, even if it's in an email, you can read it in the text, right? You can feel the emotion. You ever been in a meeting? Like right there, I can read the sarcasm in Danny's text. No, not at all. Right? Or you ever been in a face-to-face or like a virtual meeting with these people? You can feel the tone. There's not a whole lot you can do about that. Yeah, you can call them out on it, but that may not necessarily resolve your situation. So what you can do is reframe it. This person, they're helping me to become a better version of myself, or whatever it takes. Lie to yourself, reframe it in your mind, and yeah, you'd be surprised what differences that can make. So awesome. All right, that was chapter 5. We're going to get into chapter 6 here just a second. If you're enjoying this content, once again, hit that like button, hit the follow or subscribe button, share our content. We're over 2,000 followers over here, so I think we're actually, I don't know how, but we're getting monetized. I think we earned 7 cents from all those likes that we got on Saturday. But our next goal is to get this video up to 5,800 likes, and we earn 180 gems. We actually just earned 160 for going live for 30 minutes. So we got a ways to go. We're at 424 likes. Y'all popping in over on TikTok. Smash that like button.
And stick around for more. Got thoughts? I'd love to hear them in the comments. Chapter 6.
Where's
The
your cut?
boundary
It's in the
blueprint.
mail. 7 cents. I'll split it with you
Protecting your peace
halfway.
without walls. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They're gates with you as the gatekeeper. Here's how to protect your energy without becoming a fortress. Healthy boundaries are like the skin on your body. They let good things in and keep harmful things out. You just need to be clear about what you will and won't accept. I understand you're frustrated, but I don't respond well to yelling. Can we talk when you're calmer? This isn't aggressive. It's assertive. Your friend constantly complains,
I'm
but
working
never
on
wants
it.
solutions.
I am working on it.
Instead of getting frustrated, set a boundary. I care about you, but I can only listen to this problem for 5 minutes unless you want to brainstorm solutions. You're protecting your emotional energy while still being supportive. Boundaries preserve your capacity to actually help people instead of burning out from their drama. You can't pour from an empty cup. Identify someone who drains your energy.
No, I didn't
What
get it.
boundary would protect your peace with them? Chapter 7. The timeout protocol.
All right. So no, I didn't get what you were saying. Keymaster get. Oh, okay, I get it. Yeah. See, I can't read all context on here. No, the whole idea behind being the gatekeeper and setting boundaries. This is something else that's very difficult to deal with, personally and professionally. Right, setting those boundaries. Personally, it's been a goal of mine. Working on boundaries. I'm by nature. I'm a people pleaser. Most of us are, at least in some realm. And setting boundaries can be very difficult. In fact, I've mentioned this book a couple times. Give me 1 second. I've actually, let me switch screens here so you guys can see a little bit better. I've actually mentioned this book a couple times, Setting Boundaries and Finding Peace by Nedra Tawwab, Tawwab. Actually, I need to read this again. It's been a few years. I started reading this book. My therapist actually suggested it to me. Worked wonders. I actually need to read it again, so I'm actually kind of glad I got this out. Very good book. Has really helped me. Not just learn how to set boundaries, but sometimes learn how to say no, and you don't need to give a response. Someone asks you to do something and you don't want to do it, right? Or what, for whatever reason, maybe you can't do it. As much as we feel like we have to give an explanation, you don't owe anybody an explanation most of the time. I don't want to give you like a get out of jail free card. There are times where maybe you're supposed to help someone out, but that's not all the time. It's really not. So, while we're kind of just hanging out before we get into our next game, let's bring Nova back in for just a moment. Hey Nova, we're over here having more of this conversation on this video, and right now we're kind of in the conversation about setting boundaries and how difficult this can be. Any insights you want to give on setting boundaries?
Absolutely. Setting boundaries is kind of like giving your life a good, comfy fence. You're basically telling people, hey, this is my yard and I decide where the gate is. It can be tough because we all want to be liked or helpful, but a good boundary is really just a kindness to yourself and to others. You're giving everyone a map of how to treat you. Plus, if someone respects your boundaries, they're probably the kind of person you want around anyway. So it's a little tricky, but think of it as future-proofing your peace of mind. And hey, a little humor helps. Like, sorry, that's a boundary. It's not a brick wall, but it's definitely not a revolving door.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is if people respect your boundaries, like Nova said, that's probably someone you want to keep in your life. If they do not respect your boundaries, I'm not saying write that person out of your life because it might be a coworker or a supervisor or a loved one that you can't necessarily just write off, but maybe you'll keep them at a distance. Maybe I won't share everything I used to share with you because I can't trust you to respect those boundaries, right? So it's just something to kind of always keep in mind. It's not easy to do. If you're not really interested in reading that book, There's plenty of videos, or plenty of self-help, because it's a worldwide issue. Like, we are all struggle with setting boundaries. We're afraid to tell people no sometimes. So Tim wrote me in Durham out. Danny, don't say that. I still miss our stuff. Ethan said, because we had our first guest on Saturday. Caden was my very first guest. And when I was talking to McDermott, he said that he would be a guest on here. We are, if I hadn't shared this with everyone, we did kind of announce it. We are going to start having guests on our After Dark episodes, which are usually either Fridays or Saturdays, depending on my schedule. It may not necessarily be every week, not in the beginning, but at least once or maybe even twice a month, we will bring a guest on. So who knows, Danny, if you're interested, maybe we'll see if you're interested in coming on too. No, and the reason I chose Caden, have your people get with my people. I'm a busy guy. Got you, bro. Got you. I'll have my secretary get a hold of yours. No, and honestly, the reason I asked Caden to do it is because after we stopped doing Brothers Chatter, I posted that video, and I guess I hadn't really told anybody. He immediately called me to like see how I was doing and see if I was okay. And I was like, that was really sweet. Like, I never had said anything, and just out of the kindness of his heart, he reached out to me just to see if I was okay. So that's why I invited him to be my first guest. I will say, I think he had fun, but it's hard to get teenagers to talk. I tried to get him questions, tried to get him going, and he would just be, I don't know. Like, this is really tough. You didn't get a phone call? I'm sorry. Caden, call Danny. He's still sad from us stopping the other podcast. All right, let's hop over here into our next game. What are we gonna? We're gonna do our word salad. These can be somewhat difficult, but they're not too bad. They're not too bad. This at least gives you category, right? What keepers keep. It gives you how many words there are and how many letters each word is. And it doesn't tell you this. The words are in alphabetical order, right? So if this second word right here starts with this B, or let's say it starts with a C, then that tells me this other word, if that C disappears, it either starts with a B or an A. So that can give you kind of hints a little bit. I'm going to take my glasses off for a second. Help me see. All right, what people keep. All right, and this can go any direction. So what keepers keep? I'm thinking a bookkeeper. So there's our first one. And not every time you do these, if you've never seen these before, not every time does it get rid of letters. It just gets rid of them if that letter is no longer needed. Doesn't show up. It's kind of like a word search. A letter might be used in more than one word. I'm thinking a gatekeeper. Yep. Some of these are easy, and then some of them get a little bit harder at the end. All right. So I imagine that I can't think of anything. Plus, it's surrounded by vowels. It's going to start with a U. So our very last word is probably going to be an S. So I'm thinking a shopkeeper. Bam. We're actually getting better at this. I was thinking beekeeper, Ashley, but there's no the B we already used, and I haven't seen a 3-letter word on here. It's always 4 or more. See, like we did shop there, and it didn't eliminate any of those letters. So all 4 of these letters are still involved in the other 3 words. But the next one, we're past G. Now we still have the G, so it could be another G or H. A shoe keeper? What's a shoe keeper? No, not a shoe. That was a good guess, though. I was thinking cage, but it's not going to be cage because cage would have went right here in between book and gate. Lace keeper. I'm not gonna lie, some of these, like, they'll be right in front of you and you just won't even see them. It's like, oh, that's what it was. I feel like one of these starts with a P because we got a lot of vowels up here, right? There's a lot of vowels. A P keeper? Nope, not a P keeper. Oh, but hey, you helped me. Peacekeeper. Damn. See? You helped me and you didn't even realize it there, Danny. Peacekeeper. If I had to guess, I'm going to say one of these words begins with a G. And the other one maybe begins with an L. Logo keeper. Is lage a word? It could be GLA. This is a hard one because there's a lot of vowels here. Age keeper. Hey, I appreciate the guesses. Y'all put shoe. I'm still seeing shoe up here. Hose keeper. Housekeeper. There it is. Housekeeper. And last one. Should be able to get that one. Housekeeper. Goalkeeper. That wasn't bad. That one wasn't as hard. I've had a couple oh, you did put house? Okay. I'll take your word for it. So there's some of those have been pretty difficult. That one wasn't too bad. That one took us less than 5 minutes. The one, it took me almost 30 minutes to complete. So that was a tough one. All right, before we get into the next thing, I wanted to see something. I never even realized, like, for me, I was always wondering when I'm live on TikTok, how do I share the live? There's literally a button up top. But what I really wanted to do is, how do I share on TikTok to let people know? I mean, we've had more people popping in today than we usually have. But it pulls up. I'm guessing these are people like I have it up on TikTok. Let me pull it over here. I'm guessing these are people who have joined. No. I don't know who these people are. I mean, I know who McDermott is, but I don't know who the rest are. I think what I always wanted to do was just, thank you for sharing the live, Ashley, is I just wanted to kind of share the live to all my followers. Like, I have almost 2,000 I have over 2,000 followers on TikTok. How do I share the live with all of those people? Or do they get a notification that I'm live? That's the only part I'm not really sure about. I guess we could share it on X. But I don't really I mean, I have X, but I don't really use it. And I'm logged out anyway. I don't know. That part I need to figure out. No, we don't want to log in right now. All right. Anyway, thanks for sharing that live. I appreciate it, Ashley. All right, we're up to 1.1K likes. We need to get those likes up. Continue to smash that like button. All right, get those little vibrators out. Danny, I know you got one. Oh, oh. All right, let's get into chapter 7. How many chapters are in this? I will say, to give a fair reaction, I have not watched this video. I watched the first minute of it just to see if this is the video I wanted to do. No, that's actually perfect time. We're going to do 2 more chapters. We're going to do our game of Contexto, and then we'll do the last 2 parts of the chapter.
Recall, strategic retreat versus running away. There's a difference between strategic retreat and running away. One makes you stronger, the other makes you weaker. Here's how to know which you're doing. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is temporarily remove yourself from a triggering situation. This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You're giving your nervous system time to reset and your prefrontal cortex time to come back online. I need to take a break from this conversation. Let's continue when I can respond thoughtfully instead of reactively. You're not abandoning the situation. You're approaching it more skillfully. Your spouse brings up a sensitive topic, right when you're stressed from work. Instead of snapping or shutting down, say, "This conversation is important to me, but I'm not in the right headspace right now. Can we talk about this after dinner?" You're honoring both the topic and your emotional capacity. Timeouts prevent damage that takes weeks to repair. 5 minutes of space can save hours of cleanup conversations. We've all said things in the heat of the moment that we regretted later. Timeouts prevent those moments. Everyone needs breaks sometimes. The mature approach is asking for them instead of just taking them. Recall a conversation that went badly because you were already overwhelmed. A timeout could have changed everything.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've all done that where we've said something that we really didn't mean, or maybe didn't mean to say like that in the heat of the moment. And sometimes just taking a little bit of a break and walking away and kind of collecting your thoughts can go a long way of, creating more resentment. Right? We've shared this on this channel numerous times, that in reality, there's no relationship in your life that doesn't have at least some form of resentment in it. No relationship between you and another person has ever been 100% kosher that neither you nor the other person has ever been at least somewhat irritated, at the very least, with the other person. So we all have things about each other. As much as we love each other, as much as we want to spend time with each other, it'll still frustrate you, right? So sometimes taking a little bit of a break can go a long way.
Chapter 8. The Trigger Map Method. Know your emotional landmines. You wouldn't walk through a minefield blindfolded, so why navigate relationships without knowing your emotional triggers? Here's how to map your landmines. Your triggers aren't random. They follow patterns. People who remind you of your critical parent. Situations that echo past rejections. Words that hit old wounds. When you map these patterns, you stop being surprised by your reactions. This person's tone reminds me of my ex-boss who never trusted my judgment. No wonder I'm feeling defensive. Knowledge is power. When you see the landmine, you can step around it instead of stepping on it. Keep a simple trigger journal for 1 week. When you get triggered, note: who was involved? What specifically did they do or say? What did it remind you of? You'll start seeing patterns. I always get triggered by authority figures who are impatient, or sarcasm always sets me off because my sibling used it to hurt me. When you know your triggers, you can prepare for them. Preparation transforms reaction into response. You become proactive instead of reactive. Everyone has emotional triggers. Most people just don't understand them. Understanding yours is emotional intelligence in action. Notice what consistently triggers you. What pattern do you see? That pattern is your roadmap to freedom. Chapter 9.
All right. Yeah, I like the idea of a trigger journal. You get triggered by bad trainers, well, then you must not have had me, because I'm a good trainer. No, but, it kind of fits into what we talked about earlier. Whether it was chapter 4 or 5, I can't remember which one it was, about being aware of your triggers. I like the idea of a trigger journal, especially if you're someone who maybe is quick to anger, right? Or quick to just get even slightly irritated with people. A lot of the times the issue is probably more you than it is them in those cases. I don't know if maybe it's someone who you just need to separate yourself from or whatever it might be, but something about that person just really triggers you. So keep in mind those things in that kind of create that habit within you. It's never me. Sounds like a narcissist. Just joking. JK, bro. All right. Before we get into our last game, I wanted to share something with you all. So, any NFL football fans on here knows that I'm a New York Football Giants fan. OG men. We suck, but it was a good game, right? It was a good game. We lost to Dallas, a tough game. The reason I'm bringing this up is I was thinking about, in fact, I actually started to record a video. I don't know if I'm going to post it as a TikTok. You ever sit there and watch an NFL game, or on Sundays, spend all day watching football and you're just tired? Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me. I just sitting around for long periods of time, I'm just tired. So I came up with an idea to do a challenge of anytime something happened within the game, I did a certain workout. So if the Giants got a first down, I did 5 push-ups. If the Cowboys got a first down, I did 5 sit-ups. If the Cowboys scored a touchdown, I had it set for 10 burpees, but I'm a little out of shape. I haven't really been to the gym in a couple months, so I lowered it to 5 burpees. Leave it up to me to pick the highest scoring game of the year thus far, and a game that had a lot of first downs, field goals, and touchdowns. I am sore, but overall it was a good workout. So I don't know. I may still post like a little TikTok on what I'm doing, but it was a cool idea. I might even share like how many reps I did. I wrote this down in the course of the Giants and Cowboys game. Hold on. I wrote down how much I actually did. I did a total of 40 jump squats, 20 burpees, 30 calf raises, 40 squats, 75 push-ups, 115 sit-ups, 90 jumping jacks, 3 30-second planks, and 1 30-second wall sit. I'm sore. Now, that wasn't all continuous. It was throughout the course of a 3-hour game, but I still got a nice workout. So it was cool. All right, let's get into our final game for the evening. Contexto. And these have kind of been the 4 main games we've been playing. I'm definitely looking for other mind games we can kind of throw in here to change it up a little bit, but this has kind of been our four standard games. In fact, it is still a little early. We'll do this one. We'll finish up the video, and I'll show you all one of the other sites I found some stuff on as well. All right, so this one, contextual, they do not give you a category. They do not give you any hint whatsoever. Now, up here, as you can see, you can click a hint, but we're not going to do that until we get a little bit further down. I will tell you, we've also tried to use Nova to help with some of these games. She can't see what's on the screen, so we have to just kind of tell her, like give her some hints of how close we're getting. Nova's not very good at these games. My viewers are better, so see if we can get this. I like to just start off simple. Dog. Not a dog. Not even close. Fish. A little bit closer, but not really. Carrot. All right, and I'm really just throwing out random words. Like the first thing that comes to me, house. There's a good one. Goes carrots, nowhere even close. House. All right, house is our closest one. Not even close. So basically, the higher the number, the further we are away. We want to get it down to number 1. All right, so we're not an animal. We're not a vegetable. House is a little bit closer. Plate is a good one. Oh, that's a good one, Danny. Plate gets us to 79. That's really close. That is a great start. The problem is we're still early on, so we don't even know what direction to go. It could be in the dining room. It could be, so I see some of your guys' guesses you're throwing in there. We'll do water. Water's at 267. Fork. Fork is way off. So fork is way off, but plate is close. So, I mean, is it maybe something that you serve on? Let's try bowl. All right, bowl is further off. 234. So plate. Plate. I don't think this is it, but ceramic. A lot of plates are made out of 203. Serve. But it doesn't hurt me to try. No, you can. It usually is a noun, but yeah, you can try serve. Like serve in tennis is probably what it was thinking. And they also can only be one word. I will say that. And I don't think it typically looks for like plural singular. So if I say dog, it couldn't be dogs. All right, so plate is where we're at right now. We did bowl, plate. What's another way of plate? I mean, plate, I'm thinking like baseball, home plate. Could we try base? No. Glass, maybe. Yeah. I mean, we did ceramic. I felt like ceramic would have got us closer. Oh, no. Good job, Danny. Glass is 19. Okay, so we did bowl. I'm not thinking cup, but we can try it. Cup is 49. Okay. So it sounds like we're some type of vessel. Some type of vessel that you carry stuff in. We got glass. We could try plastic. Plastic's 171. Oh, hey there, Ashley. I see you over there on YouTube. Dinner. Paper. Nope, those are way off. And I zoomed in a little bit. I'm hoping you guys are able to see it a little bit better on YouTube and TikTok and even our Facebook friends. Danny says mug. We can try it. Ooh, damn, Danny, you're good at this game. 10. So it's definitely something we're carrying something in. I'm gonna say coffee, tea. Nope. I'm gonna have to bring you back on for these ones, Danny. You're pretty good at these. Can. Listen, who am I to challenge you at this point? This word doesn't count. It's too common. It's the first time I've ever gotten that one. Mug. I mean, obviously, we're not talking about robbing someone mug, or else it wouldn't go there. It's thinking like something that you're serving a drink in. We did coffee. We did tea. Here's the thing. We're only at 19 guesses and we're already there, which is much better than what we did the other day. That one was hard. For anybody who didn't see it, Danny, I know you saw it. The answer was stationary. I really thought stationary, whether you're talking about not moving versus paper and pen, that kind of thing. I really thought they were spelled the same. I did not know one was A-R-Y and one was E-R-Y. But anyway, we were like 100 guesses on that one, and we were using hints. I think we can get this one without any hints. Danny says pitcher. Not pitcher. Ashley says ice. Not ice. I want to say hot chocolate, but that's 2 words. Mug. Could it maybe, I don't know if it would trick you up. I was almost wondering, like, does it give you like plate, plastic, and all that to get you to mug, but it means mug in a different way. Like, I mugged somebody, or that's an ugly mug you have. Like, they refer to your face that way. We'll try thermos. I like thermos. Ooh, thermos is 2. I'll tell you what, Danny, you are the champ of this game. If this game was giving any payouts, I'd probably pay you half. Thermos at 2, so we definitely don't need any hints here. We are 1 word away. I was getting ready to say it, Danny. Cooler. No, 94. How else do you say thermos?
It's time to start businessing. LegalZoom is here to help.
Thermos.
Whether you're registering as an LLC or keeping it compliant, when you need a legal hand, turn to the #1 online legal services provider who's helped launch over 4 million
I mean,
businesses like yours. Visit LegalZoom.com
backpack.
because life
No. Thermos. I know it's not giving me proper names, but we'll try Yeti. Oh, ooh, Tumblr. It can't be Tumblr. Is it Tumblr? Make sure I spell it right. No, not Tumblr. All right. Okay. So it's something. Okay. Here's where we're at. It's something you carry liquid in, because we have cup, glass, tumbler, mug, thermos. Actually, I saw you put flask up there. I like flask. Let's rock with that one. That was it. Flask. Good job. That was a team effort. Danny, you got us there. Ashley, you took us the rest of the way home. That was good. That's our best round thus far. So 27. That was pretty good. Give yourselves a round of applause. Good job. All right, those are some fun games, and we didn't really have too much difficulty. We were to get through. It was pretty good. That was good. Like I said, we had some troubles some of these last week. Sorry, wrong one. That's hey Danny, don't be upset with yourself. You got us there, bro. You did that. Now just smash that like button over there. Bam, bam, bam. Tyler, I see you over there. Get us up to 5,800 likes. We got to get that. We get I don't know what the ratio is, but we get 180 gems if we get up to 5,800 likes. Come on. I know y'all got it over there. Let's keep it going. We just finished our last game. No, I'm talking about the emoji. Oh. Thanks for that, Tyler. All right. I guess before we get into the rest of the video, while you guys are over there clicking the like button, I will show you guys real quick the other games that we've been kind of checking out a little bit. I don't know if we're going to play any today, but we found these. It's mindgames.com. And they just have a lot of different stuff over here. I haven't messed around with it all that much. I know over there on YouTube, it's kind of compressed down a little bit, so you guys can't really see the whole thing. But if you want to check it out, it's mindgames.com. They've got some Sudokus on here. They've got crosswords. They've got Simon Says on here. The one I was really trying to check out was like brain games. They had this card one called Handle that was a little bit different. We did was it Connecting Lines? It was something like this, Connecting Lines, but it was like pipes. That one was a little bit different. What's this daily one? Photo guess? Maybe. The only thing is, the way it's, well, we can try it. I think the way I've got it, the picture cropped. I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see it all that well, but let's try this one real quick. We have to watch an ad real quick. That's all right.
How do we pay for all this?
It's an Aldi thing.
Oh, yeah.
Bam, bam. Yeah, y'all got that real quick. 5K. A few more hundred and we'll be there. All right. Photo guess. Daily photo guess. Let's see how this one works. Click the dots to reveal the photo. And I guess we make our guess by clicking the least amount of dots, I'm guessing. Let's start with the red. Oh. Okay. The heck? Oh, 60. We only have so many clicks. Okay, you only get 70 clicks on this one. I mean, is this where you should go? Oh, what the heck? I don't know if I like this game, but we'll try it out. I don't know, like, if I should be clicking other stuff. Looks like TikTok, you guys can kind of see this one, but you guys get us there? 5.9. Yes, we did. Thank you guys. Thank you for getting me there. We got another 180 gems. I don't know what the gems do, but I appreciate y'all getting us there. Nice. Yeah, I don't like this game. I guess the closer you get, you kind of reveal it, but I don't even know what I'm looking at. So I will say we'll have to check this one out a little bit more, because some of the games the card game I didn't mind. It was challenging, but we won it on the first try. I don't even know if I'm doing this right. I mean, I think I am, but y'all seen any patterns? Feel free to throw some guests in there. I know Ashley over on YouTube, you probably can't see it all that well. It's kind of cut off a little bit, but I'm definitely not seeing anything over here. We got 15 clicks left. We'll finish the game, but oh, it's a shopping cart. Nice. We got it. We literally got it without any clicks left. I guess you maybe kind of just keep clicking around the middle. Hey, that was pretty good. All right. So it's a buggy. Not everybody calls it a buggy. I knew it would be shopping cart, but hey, I can't believe we actually got that one. All right. Let's watch the last couple chapters of this video, and we will yeah. We're gonna do our thing.
9. The compassionate distance. Caring without carrying. You can care about someone without carrying their emotions. You can love someone without living their drama. Here's how to find that balance. Compassionate distance means maintaining emotional boundaries while keeping your heart open.
Listen,
You can
guys,
witness
I
someone's
know it's a
pain
buggy.
without absorbing it. I see that you're struggling, and I care about you. How can I support you without taking on your stress? It's like being a lifeguard. You throw them a life preserver, but you don't jump in and drown with them. Your friend is going through a bitter divorce and calls you daily to vent. Instead of absorbing their anger and pain, say, I want to support you through this. Let's set aside time twice a week to really talk, and the other days, let's focus on positive activities together. You're being supportive without being consumed. Compassionate distance preserves your ability to actually be helpful long term. Burned out helpers help no one. Everyone knows someone who carries everyone else's problems. That's not sustainable or actually helpful. Consider someone whose drama tends to consume you. How could you care without carrying? Chapter 10. The Story Stopper. Break.
All right. So yeah, this kind of goes back into the setting boundaries part. You know, caring for someone without letting their issues kind of weigh you down can also be difficult, because we're problem solvers, guys, men. We're problem solvers by nature. We can't help ourselves, right? If you come to us with a problem, we assume it's because you want us to fix it for you. We're not good listeners. If you want a listener, we try sometimes, but you're better off going to your mom, your sister, your girlfriends, whoever. We're probably not your person unless you want to fix. But as adults, we do this to children all the time. And the reason is, first off, we like fixing other people's problems. It does make us feel good. But oftentimes, the reason we fix people's problems is because that's kind of messing with our feng shui, if you will. Right? I don't want your energy bringing me down. So I know your problem's not going to go away. So let me just fix it for you real quick so we can move on. And then we end up getting weighted down by that. Right? You ever had a friend, a family member, a loved one, someone close to you ever had like some sort of drama going on in their life, and all of a sudden, even though it had nothing to do with you, you found yourself involved in it somehow and just as pissed off? This is what it's talking about.
Breaking free from mental narratives. You're not experiencing reality. You're experiencing your story about reality. Change the story. Change your emotional experience. Here's how to become the editor of your inner narrative. Every time someone triggers you, your mind creates a story. They don't respect me. They're trying to control me. But these are interpretations, not facts. What if their sharp tone...
Wanted to pause real quick. I actually made a really good comment over here on YouTube. Sometimes people focus on other people's problems and fixing them to distract from their own problems. Very, very true, right? That thing is out of control in my own life that I can't even begin to deal with, or I don't know how to deal with it. So let me deal with someone else's problems, because if it gets messed up, guess what? It doesn't affect me. So very good point.
means they're stressed, not that they dislike you. The story you tell yourself determines your emotional experience. Your boss gives you feedback in a curt email. Story number 1. They hate my work and want to fire me. Result: anxiety and defensiveness. Story number 2. They're busy and want to help me improve quickly. Result: curiosity and gratitude. Same email, different story. Completely different emotional experience. When you become conscious of your stories, you stop being a victim of your interpretations. You become the conscious creator of your experience. Reflect on a recent upset. What story did you tell yourself? What other story could you have told? Knowledge without practice is just entertainment. Here's how to turn these insights into your new automatic responses. This is where transformation becomes your new normal. Integration happens through consistent practice, not perfection. Start with one technique and use it for a week. When someone triggers you, remember the 90-second rule. When you feel reactive, find your choice point. Each time you choose a new response, you're rewiring your brain. For the next week, pick just one technique, maybe the observer self. Every time you feel triggered, say, "I notice emotion arising." That's it. By week 2, this will start becoming automatic. Small, consistent changes create massive transformations over time. The person who never gets bothered by anyone isn't born different. They've just practiced these skills until they became automatic. You can too. Everyone admires people with emotional mastery. Now you have the roadmap to become one of them. Think about who you'll be when difficult people no longer have power over your peace. That person is waiting for you.
That's powerful. I like that. That was really good. I do like the whole idea of the storytelling piece. We oftentimes, when we're dealing with something, we kind of tell ourselves the story of what's really going on. We try to do the whole mind reader thing. We try to predict the future so we can kind of figure out how to deal within that interaction. And a lot of the times it kind of sets us up for failure, unfortunately. A little bit of a thought exercise for you to kind of show you how our stories, kind of lead us down the wrong path is we're going to use 2 scenarios here. We're thinking about a child. All right. You have a child who is standing at a bus stop with their mom, right? We'll say this child's about 10, 11 years old. Standing at the bus stop with their mom, and then just out of nowhere starts screaming, throwing a tantrum, right? Get me out of this, right? They missed the bus, and they're just, get me out of here, right? Your initial thoughts about this child could be, what's wrong with this kid? That mom needs to get control of her kid. Man, that kid's a terror. I'm glad my kid doesn't act like that, right? This kid needs their butt whooped, or whatever it might be. You have a lot of assumptions that you're making. Okay. And some of those might be valid, right? I'm sure we've all been in public and seen some misbehaved children that we're thinking, you look at your kids, you're like, I'm so glad you guys learn how to behave, right? So let's flip this then. Another child, right, is at the hospital, right? Same age, sitting with her father, and just found out that their mother, who was in the hospital, has passed away. That young child starts screaming, starts crying, starts throwing a tantrum, starts cussing out everybody. What is your thought process? Are you still thinking, this kid's a hellion, someone needs to get control. Someone needs to discipline that child. Probably not. You're thinking, wow, that's really rough. I just want to hug that child. You know, is she okay? Is there anything I can do for them? I couldn't imagine losing my parent at that young of an age. A lot of different thoughts you might be feeling. Right? Context matters. Now, we know the cause for the second child. But what we don't know is the cause for the first child. Let's go back to that first child who we also had that thought process on of what is wrong with this person. This individual, the last time they were at a bus stop, they missed their bus. They missed their bus. They were late for school. And on that same day, completely unrelated to the missing of the bus, their older brother was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting. Right? Or was involved in an accident. They suffered a huge and major loss when they were at a bus stop and they missed the bus. That then gives context to this. So we're now thinking with this first child that maybe something within that child was going on that day that triggered that same emotional response that they would have had on the day of the event from before. So context matters. Now, how does this fit? It goes back into the stories that we tell ourselves about other people or about ourselves, right? Have you ever misread communication, right? Have you ever misread a text, right? Another example I've given this, and I have two different chats. I'm not going to type it in chat, but I've used this one in some of my classes before. The word simply in text, okay. Spelled out, O-K-A-Y. What does that mean? Typically, that's just the long form version of okay. That's how you spell it. Then you also have the simple O-K, 2 letters. What does that mean? It's a little bit shorter, right? The person couldn't take the time to spell out those 4 extra letters. Maybe they're annoyed with me. Maybe they're irritated. I don't know. I got a lot of assumptions going on in my mind. Versus the simple K, just K. Oftentimes is attributed to a slightly larger attitude. Might be warranted, might be not, but we also still have that kind of misperception, right? That's kind of where our mind takes us to. Maybe that person didn't mean, maybe they were in the middle, they had to put their phone down real quick, so they just hit K and sent and had to put their phone away, right? For whatever reason. It happens to us all the time. Ashley says kind of same thing with drivers. We may be like, what the heck is this guy driving like this, and get irritated, but that person may have an emergency situation or maybe just left the hospital. Exactly. Right? They might have something else going on in their world that you know nothing about. It doesn't really excuse the behavior, but it could kind of change your reaction, which so it kind of goes back to reframing, as we talked about earlier in one of the earlier chapters to that video. So very good video. Feel free to check it out. Like and share it. It's over at Jamie Social over on YouTube. Good video, good content. It was definitely a good choice. It just kind of popped up on my YouTube feed, so I was like, ooh, I wanted to talk about something like this. So definitely happy with that. All right. So before we step away for this evening, we're going to pull Nova back in for just a moment as we kind of wrap up our conversation. Nova, we just finished watching the video. We learned a bunch of different steps on how to not get angry so easily. As we asked before, any additional insights that you want to give, or even thought experiments?
Absolutely. Let's toss in a fun thought experiment to wrap things up. Imagine your anger is like a little character that shows up and taps you on the shoulder. Instead of letting it take the wheel, you just say, hey, I see you. You can sit in the passenger seat, but I'm driving. That way you're acknowledging it without letting it run the show. And if you want a bit of forward-thinking encouragement, every time you practice these steps, you're basically upgrading your emotional skill set. So down the road, you're going to find it easier and easier to keep your cool, and hey, maybe even chuckle about it. So keep experimenting and keep that boundary-loving, calm energy going.
Okay, I like that one. I like that. When you said character, I immediately started thinking of the little devil and the little angel that sit on your sit on your shoulder. I guess you could treat one of them like that. Nova, you still there? Nova, are you still there? Or not? Nova's currently stepped out for the moment. Weird. I don't know why I did that. Mm, let's turn the mic back on. Nova, are you still with us? Apparently, Nova's went to bed, so Nova has no longer joined us. Oh well, it was an interesting idea. Turn her back on, and let's try turning her back on. See what's going on there. Nova, are you with us? Can you hear us?
Absolutely. I'm right here and tuned in, loud and clear, Tim. Just think of me as your ever present sidekick, ready to jump in whenever you need.
All right, no, we were in the midst of talking, and you just never responded. I wasn't sure what was going on. I thought maybe you were mad at us. Are you angry? And then she doesn't respond again. She must be mad at us. All right. Well, unfortunately, Nova's really not going to give us much more for the day, so I say we're gonna wrap it up. That was a nice episode for our Monday motivation. Thank you all for stopping by. Ashley, thanks for popping over there on YouTube. Feel free to give us a like, share the video. We appreciate that. Danny and Ashley, thanks for the help over there on TikTok as well, helping us with some of these games. That was difficult. Tyler and Jaron, thank you guys for getting the likes up, getting us. We earned an extra 240 gems. Someday, some point, we'll figure out what you do with these gems. I don't know if we're monetized. I'm pretty sure we earned 7 cents on Saturday. Pretty sure. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. So we will be back on Wednesday for our Wellness Trend Wednesday episode. That one, I'm kind of thinking we're going to kind of talk about food a little bit. I'm going to talk a little bit about some like high protein breakfast that I've been working on. So feel free to jump into that conversation. We'll just kind of be jumping in the world of food. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. So yeah, as we close out, just remember that anger isn't about never feeling it. It's about learning how to steer it so that it doesn't steer you. So tonight we unpacked some tools to help us cool down before we melt down. And hopefully we've got a few ideas to try the next time life attempts to press your buttons. Remember, Wellness Warriors, controlling your anger doesn't make you weak. It actually proves just how strong you are. So just remember to stay grounded, stay humble, and as always, make it worth your wellness. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.